Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And no Tyler over there. And this week, to kick off a Post Apocalyptic Dystopia July.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful. We are reviewing my pick, 28 Weeks Later.
Makes you the youngest person in the entire country.
Oh, I missed you so much.
That sounded like you're. Oh!
What are you afraid of?
What if it comes back?
It won't come back.
Oh!
What if it does?
If it comes back, we'll kill it.
Trailer's really quiet.
Yeah, it is.
You come into direct contact with the infected.
What happened?
What happened? Daddy, what happened?
What did you leave mommy?
Step 1, kill the infected. Step 2, containment.
Step 3, go to the Winchester, have a pint, wait for all this to blow up.
Step 3,
Profit.
extermination.
The next chapter? Is that what it said?
Do you think Mum's
I don't read British.
Do you think Mom's alive? That's what he said.
Not this time.
I think she's dead, ain't it?
Oh, it's Tuesday.
We've lost control.
Chim chim chiroo, just another dreary day.
Code red.
Just another day in England. It's an epic trailer. Spoilers.
Yeah, really.
The horror returns.
It's just us.
It's just us. It's not
Done.
over.
Oh, okay. Forgot. England.
28 weeks later. Yes, 28 weeks later, as it says right there on the screen if you're watching us. Please watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
28 weeks later, directed by not Danny Boyle, but Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, who is most recently known for directing Damsel, straight to Netflix, Millie Bobby Brown, fantasy dragon movie. I don't know.
That's my new favorite way of saying her name now.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown.
And then he also directed a movie called Intruders, which came out after 28 weeks later, and he hasn't really done anything that I know of before 28 weeks later. Movie called Intacto from 2001.
Danny Boyle, that's why he chose him for this, because of Intacto.
Yeah, Intacto is the reason. It just screams.
I read it in the Wikipedia. He says he was a huge fan of Intacto.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Juan Carlos, what's his last name?
Juan Carlos Esposito. No. Fresnadillo.
Fresnadillo. He did like 5 years of TV commercials before this.
Oh, okay.
He took a break from movies.
Interesting. Written by Rowan Joffe, Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, and Enrique Lopez Levine. Produced by Alex Garland and Danny Boyle, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Starring Jeremy Renner, Rose Byrne, Idris Elba, Imogen Poots, Catherine McCormick, and Robert Carlyle as the dad,
The dick
dad in this, and Macintosh Muggleton. That's the most English name.
Yeah, that's a Hunger Games name if I've ever heard one.
As Andy, the young kid.
Or it could be like a Harry Potter, like a ghost that's now just a picture on a wall.
Well, yeah, Muggleton is very Harry Potter-ish. And this, as the name of the movie says, this takes place 28 weeks later after the outbreak of the rage virus.
28 weeks later.
And
that's like a year.
Almost. That's like half a year.
7 months.
Yeah. And in this point in the outbreak, it's been contained. The U.S. military has stepped in, as they always do, into England to quarantine the non-infected into a small area of England, while the rest of it is essentially uninhabitable or dangerous to go out to, with Idris Elba being the lead.
Why is he playing American? He's British.
I know, he's a British actor playing an American takes place
in
in
England in a British movie.
Yeah. I think Rose Byrne also might be English. I'm not sure. Jeremy Renner, not English.
He's from Fresno.
Yeah, yeah, Fresno.
Yeah. Rose Byrne's Australian.
Australian, okay.
Same thing.
Almost. And yeah, this is a follow-up of 28 Days Later, and this has one of the most insane, intense intros of a movie that is very bleak and kind of paints a picture of this character of the dad. This cottage in the middle of countryside England gets invaded by the infected or the zombies, and there's quite a few people who are living there at the time. There's like an old couple who own the house, and then there's a couple other survivors, and then the husband and wife. And the husband essentially just saves himself. He's put in a position where he's in between. There's a zombie in between him and his wife, and this young kid who just shows up. And he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Well, she goes after the kid.
Yeah.
When there's and she's like, help us.
And
there's like 10 zombies right there.
I know. I'm like, what's he gonna do? He's like, it's either we all die or just you die.
Yeah, exactly.
So he abandons them, runs out, and
I thought it was weird that he's like, but you're immune.
But you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you got 2 different colored eyes. That means you're immune.
Apparently.
And so he runs away. He escapes via boat while also trying to save the other guy, but he jumps and slips and falls in the water and then gets taken by the...
there's not a lot of good things happening in that scene.
No, he's painted as not a great guy, even though he has good intentions. So that's the very beginning of the movie, and that kind of sets the tone. And then the rest of the movie happens, and things are going well for society. This is they're sort of trying to start to rebuild their country as they've contained the outbreak just to England, and which is kind of funny to know that the rest of the world is just fine.
England is fucking...
And just England is
they fumbled the bag.
Yeah. It is an island, so they are kind of stuck there.
I think it's funny that they call there's mainland England and then there's the Isles.
Yeah.
And even though it is... At some point, aren't we all islands? Aren't all continents islands?
Yeah, just one big island. And this is the second time that I've seen this movie. The first time I watched this, the first and only time I watched this before was when it was released in 2007, and I watched it at a drive-in.
Cool.
In a pairing with Knocked Up. This played right after Knocked Up, and this movie is very dark in a lot of the scenes. And at the drive-in between the movies, they turned on like the parking lights for people to leave. And then they never turned them off for 28 weeks later. So it was kind of washed out. I couldn't really see what was happening in the nighttime scenes because of the
I'm sure.
The lights were still on.
Yeah.
So that was the only time I watched this movie, and I really didn't remember much about it except for the very beginning of this movie. And and watching it, I didn't remember anything else other than like the main explosion part of what happens towards the end.
When they
firebomb the
got it. Yeah.
And then the helicopter Resident Evil killing thing.
Yeah, that's a straight up Paul W.S. Anderson shot. It was impressive, but still seemed out of place.
So Pete, this is your first time watching this?
I've probably seen this 4 times.
Really?
Yeah.
You watched it that many times?
I'd say I watched it when it first came out. Watched it again a couple years later. I think in preparation for and then I watched it a third time in preparation. I went on Carlo from the Movie Loot invited me to go on his show. He was one of our contestants on the trivia special we did. And we did the opening loot, which was like the best opening scenes of all movies, and this was one of my picks. So I watched it in preparation for that. That was a couple years ago, and then again now. So that's 4 times. And I remember really liking it the first time I saw it, and really seeing no difference between the first 28 days and 28 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Like the quality, held up.
Yeah, I was
the first one.
I was pretty young when I first saw 28 Days, and this was 2007. It's a few years out of high school. Really, I've always liked movies, but I didn't really try to find a whole lot of meaning or really like critique them very much. Until,
like you didn't think to look deeper.
Nah,
into
just
them.
watching him like, ooh, zombie movie. Oh, great, awesome, love zombie movies. Brains, you know. Send more cops, you know. And but it is a stark contrast between the first one and this one. And I think it all sums up with this quote from Alex Garland. So I won't read the quote just yet, but I'll say,
okay.
This is the production development. This is straight from the Wikipedia.
This came out 5 years after the first movie, too.
Okay. The international success of the 2002 horror movie 28 Days Later influences creators Danny Boyle and producer Andrew McDonald, and also screenwriter Alex Garland, to make a sequel 4 years following its release. McDonald stated, "We were quite taken aback by the phenomenal success of the first film, particularly in America. We saw an opportunity to make a second film that already had a built-in audience. We thought it would be a great idea to try and satisfy the audience again." So, kind of a weird sort of a response. Like,
we thought we should try to entertain the audience again.
We like, hey, people are going to see this. They see the name on there. They're going to come already.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why people won't remake shit and do reboots and IP reduxes and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But later on in the same Wikipedia article, it says, Alex Garland, the writer of 28 Days and 28 Years Later, commented on the film, calling it, quote, "a good early lesson in the difference in making something in a kind of enthusiastic, non-cynical way, and in comparison to a project that is generated by a different sort of imperative, which is, there should be another one." So all that to say, it's not a bad movie, but it definitely doesn't have that like authentic feel of it. Like a genuine authentic feel of like somebody telling a story. It feels like there's a really great story in there with the father and abandoning the mother and like the repercussions behind that. And honestly, every other time I watch the movie, I kind of get a different perspective. I'm like, oh, maybe he could have stayed. Maybe he should have like jumped out the window on the roof and then kind of going around to the other window and like helped her get out with the kid. But then if he did that, maybe the kid would have slowed him down and he barely made it away from the zombies in the first place. But again, he didn't know that. So it's like, I go back and forth whether he was right to do that or not.
Yeah.
And it's like, in today, 2025, or even the modern day, 2007, when this movie was released, in our comforts and niceties of our society, it's easy to say, oh, you should have gone back.
Yeah.
But it's the apocalypse. It's literally like kill or be killed, fuck everyone else, get yours, because you don't know if the person knocking at your door is going to bring a horde of zombies, which he did.
Yeah.
The stupid kid.
Yeah.
So, the rules are different then. And I think that's kind of a key point in the post-apocalyptic dystopia genre we're going to be looking at, is like there are different rules there because society is collapsed and now there's a new society. That's the post part of the post-apocalyptic. It's like the world has ended in some capacity. It doesn't have to be nuclear bombs blowing up the entire world and there's only 100 people left or whatever, like Mad Max or whatever. But this society in some way has collapsed. In this world, it's not the entire world, it's English. The British world has collapsed and now there's this new society and it's like military law and it's different rules. You got to be safer.
Curfews.
Excuse me.
Stuff like that.
Curfews, yeah, exactly. But so I don't know if he's right or wrong in that. He definitely is a scumbag. But aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you get a free pass of being a scumbag in the zombie apocalypse? I don't know.
There's a little levity there.
I know. There's some leeway,
What do you want me to do, huh?
I know. It's like, okay, so I save you and then we both die. I save you for another 2.5 minutes and then we both die. And oh, you're the only one that's immune, you know? So, so anyways, I like that part of it. And I like the reconciliation when he finds his kids again and they go off and they basically think that mom's going to be at home. And you're like, you stupid kid. Of course she's not going to be home. And then she's fucking home.
Yeah.
Surprises you. And then you find out what you find out. She's immune. And you're like, well, cool. They can find a cure. But
Potentially.
Idris Elba's like, yeah, but she's still able to infect others. She needs to be put down.
Yeah.
And you're in your head, you're again wrestling with the internal debate of, do you save the person? Or is she better used for scientific experimentation? Is she still like, do you treat her like the humanity of a person with their own agency and their own rights? Or do you put her down because she does risk the flock?
Threat.
Yeah, the threat of risking the herd. And then you see, because he's again, why are you going to French kiss your wife when she's strapped down to a bed?
I know, that was
Unresponsive.
Yeah.
That's like trying to have sex with your wife in the middle of the night with no consent. Yeah, it's your wife, but
I mean, she was conscious when they were, but she was strapped down.
she's strapped down and not one peep, not one word, not like a wink.
She was waiting for him though.
She didn't even wink though.
She was waiting to get her vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I don't know.
I was expecting like a Kill Bill type of situation. Like,
Sure.
but I was like, oh yeah, it's saliva too.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
just like your blood.
So it's
or
like,
bite.
yeah, so I'm thinking that's a really compelling sort of thing too. And then of course the child, he's potentially a carrier and how that develops. And I don't know. That part of it is super interesting and I really like that part. The military and the Jeremy Renner aspect of it and the helicopter and stuff felt like a different movie. It felt like a Resident Evil or some sort of a action explosion fuckfest, you know?
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. It's just a different movie. So I still really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It made it in the top 100 best zombie movies of all time, but I don't know if there's more. How many more than 100 are there, you know?
Yeah, your your picks are a lot narrower.
Yeah, you're getting into like the ultra low budget shit. So, but yeah, I think it was really well acted. I forgot that. Well, I didn't realize until I was like scrolling through IMDb that the mother who gets her eyes gouged out, second movie in the row, they gouge someone's eyes out with the thumbs.
The callback.
Yeah. They're like, they probably liked it a lot when they did it in the first one. We should do it here too. That's like using a joke in the sequel on a comedy sequel that's in the first one and it just doesn't land the same way, except for it was very effective in this one. But that mom who gets her eyes gouged out, she was the wife, Mel Gibson's wife, William Wallace's wife in Braveheart. At the beginning that gets killed, gets her throat slit, and then puts off his entire, like, kicks off his whole vengeance spree.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the same actress. And I'm like, I had no idea. Once I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, 100% it looks her. She's got the really specific eyes. Very much so.
Okay.
I thought she was well acted. He was well acted. Imogen Poots does great. Little kid.
That's the teenager daughter, right?
Dingle Dork McIntosh or whatever his name is. He's
Macintosh Muggleton.
Yeah, he's fine.
So you were close.
He's fine. Idris Elba's classic as ever. And I thought it was a great movie. Nowhere near the heights of 28 Days Later, but still a lot of fun.
Okay.
That's my take on it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very similar in that regard. It's like 28 Days Later is really good, and 28 Weeks Later is like, it's like 70% as good.
Yeah,
as
that's pretty good.
28 Days Later. A little bit more, like they took a little bit more of a mainstream kind of action movie angle.
Yeah,
it seems like with the military aspect, and also you got what's his name, Link from Matrix as the helicopter pilot.
Oh yeah,
that's his name, right? Matrix, Link, or
Switch Apoc.
Is it Switch?
Link. It is Link.
It's Link.
Yeah.
Okay. As
it's Tank. Tank is
the other guy.
Tank's the guy that dies. No, Tank is he's the shorter one. Yeah, I think it is Link. I think you're right.
Yeah, he's the helicopter pilot. Jeremy Renner. They're like buddy. Yeah, the helicopter pilot's just always in the air the entire time. He's just flying around. It's got infinite fuel.
Yeah, that's a trope too. That's like Army of the Dead.
Oh,
Tig Notaro playing the helicopter pilot. You just that's all the character development they get. I'm a helicopter pilot.
I'm pilot.
I can fly.
And yeah, Jeremy Renner's sort of I don't want to say he's like a rebellious like soldier, but like he does not agree with what they decide to do after the outbreak happens, which is the kids' fault. The kids.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The kids, like those goddamn kids, are the reason why it happens.
Yep.
At all. I mean, it might have eventually happened, like because she was out there. I don't know if she would have made her way back or found her way to the refugee or sanctuary, whatever you want to call it.
Maybe.
But it is because of those kids that it happens the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really bad day for Don when he finds out that his wife's alive. And he's like, out of all the goddamn...
You said you saw her die. I didn't say that. I never said those words.
To his credit, she gets taken, and obviously he doesn't know that she has some sort of immunity.
Yeah.
It's not like...
She's a carrier.
Yeah, she's a carrier, but she's not... she doesn't exhibit symptoms.
Correct.
And part of me watching this was like, oh, okay, it feels like maybe Neil Druckmann took a little inspiration from this potentially.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of develops that immunity further into Ellie's story, where she can't infect anybody else. But this one takes it and is a carrier and can infect somebody else. And what I like about the 28 days, 28 weeks as well, is the way that they sort of like show you like what like the reaction is from like the normal humans, the non-infected humans, and how they respond to an event like this. Because in the first one you see like what the military guys did, and I mean that was took a dark turn pretty quick. It was only 28 days. It was like less than a month, and they're already like turned into like rapists. And in this you see like Idris Elba's character, like how he responds to like a potential solution to your problem in like maybe there's a cure, maybe we can extract something from this to help alleviate this problem, even though they have it under control seemingly. Yeah, but the movie itself is it was all right. It was more akin to like a Resident Evil type of story. And I did like how the director seemed to keep a lot of the type of editing and filmmaking from 28 Days Later, which made it so intense and scary, I think. But it just I think the scale was a little bit bigger in terms of like the amount of people involved, because when they're all trapped in that
tube or whatever,
in that like I don't know where they are, like underneath a building.
I'm assuming it's in the subway. The tube, they call it the tube.
Yeah, I don't know. And they get locked in there by the military as it's happening, and then the dad shows up, and the kid decides to walk towards the door that is being mysteriously banged on from the other side. Is like, this kid is not smart. No survival skills. And then it turns into like the worst case scenario, because you have all these people, and then the infection rate is insanely fast because
it's so fast.
They turn in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. So the intensity was there. But overall, it just didn't hit the mark as 28 Days Later, what 28 Days Later was at, unfortunately. But yeah, that's kind of like pretty much all I thought about it.
You know, it's interesting that now that we have kind of a bigger body of work from Alex Garland, a number of movies that he's directed and written. We have The Beach, we have Sunshine, also directed by Danny Boyle.
Did he write that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have 28 Days Later, 28 Years Later, Annihilation, Dread, Men, and Civil War, Ex Machina,
and half of Warfare.
Yeah, he assisted. And In just about every one of those, it shows how shitty humans can be. Mostly men, but
That's kind of the theme of these movies is like how men are terrible.
correct. and the actual
Which is his theme as well, an annihilation,
exactly.
and obviously men.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Ex Machina.
Alex Garland is not even an undercover feminist. Like, he's for sure feminist. And highlights how terrible men can be. Humankind and also men in specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But in 28 days later, you see that with the military people at the end. Like, you're like, it's only 7 weeks and they're out raping people?
It's like, well, no, it's 28 days.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 4 weeks. Sorry. 4 weeks. And they're out raping people and stuff and
Yeah.
basically creating their own like godlike society, Lord of the Flies of military.
Yeah, the guy's like, I promised them women.
Yeah.
And so like you have
What a shithead.
you have a child
Mhm.
there and one adult, and it's like
Okay.
and then like 8, 10.
What do you want me to do? I promised them women.
I can't not anymore.
I know.
Can't go back on it.
So, but in this one, we don't have that except for the opening scene.
Yeah.
That storyline is great, but then what kills society after that is just a kid being stupid. He doesn't have like evil intentions. He's
Mhm.
not showcasing the terrible aspect of humanity that mankind and men in general have.
He just wants his mommy.
He's just a dumb kid that doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this story feels less weighty than like the original one does, because you're like, it wasn't intentional. He accidentally did, and the whole time you're like, yo, you fucking kid, you stupid. Why'd you do that? Oh, because you're a Macintosh dingle dork or whatever your name is. He's just a little boy. He wants, like he said, he wants his mommy, he wants his daddy, and he's just doing the best he can, and he's stupid, goes in the fucking city center, even though it's quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, Robert Carlyle's character has intent behind his decision. And in 28 days later, the evil militants at the end have intent. They're doing it on purpose. They're purposefully going out of their way to act like this. And it makes your gut sink when you think about it. When you think about the kid, you're just like, oh, what a fucking idiot. You're not thinking he's a horrible person. You're thinking he's just a dumb kid.
Yeah.
So
You know what's funny is that I on the very beginning when that kid shows up,
Mhm.
And which is another kid being the reason why things go terrible, is the kid is from Sanford.
Yes.
with the,
Sanford, Gloucestershire.
which was I thought was really funny because it's in this trivia, like I connected it to Hot Fuzz, and directed by Edgar Wright, who also directed Shaun of the Dead, which pokes fun at 28 Days Later by dismissing rage-infected monkeys as the source of its own zombie plague. So it was like this layered sort of like
It's like a snake
homage,
eating its tail.
parody.
Yeah.
And I guess Sanford is it's a fake village used by British police to train recruits and practice emergency preparedness drills.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's really interesting.
And the street plan of it is based on that of Dundee, Scotland. So it's like a real fake village.
They rebuilt a real village out in the middle of nowhere in the country.
Yeah. I don't know where they I don't know if I think Hot Fuzz was filmed
They say
in a village.
it's when he goes in Hot Fuzz, when he goes to like transfer him,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, you've been promoted to Sanford, Gloucestershire.
Yeah.
He's like, excuse me? That's in the country.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I thought that was good because like when I saw that when he's on the kids, it was like, oh, I know Sanford. That's where Hot Fuzz takes place. And I guess Danny Boyle couldn't direct this sequel because of Sunshine.
yeah, he was already, him and Cillian Murphy were also committed to Sunshine already.
And originally they were gonna do 29 Days Later, all still starring Cillian Murphy and Naomi Harris
Really?
and Hannah Megan Burns. But it was dropped in favor of doing a film set within the time frame of 28 weeks later, focusing on an SAS team sent into London to retrieve either the Prime Minister or the Queen, which was that obviously a different plot still. And then it was suggested to set the film some point after the events of the initial film, and to deal with the impact rage has had on society in general. So that I remember like the name mechanic that they chose to go with. I feel like kind of put them in specific position because like
painting themselves in a corner a little bit.
28 days later, okay, 29 days later, the day after, or I guess we could do weeks, but they skipped months and went straight to years.
They could do 25 days later.
25 days?
Do a prequel.
Oh, yeah.
Leading right up, the person would lead right up to the hospital.
28 days later, day one.
They did, yeah. One day after.
28 days later, the day before.
That sounds like some bullshit they would make.
Yeah.
I found that tomato meter list, 100 best zombie movies.
Oh, okay. What's number one?
Well, I'll have you guess, but 28,
Oh, okay.
28 weeks later is number 53.
What's 28 days later?
28 days later.
28.
13.
Damn.
13.
That would have been great.
And 28 years later is 12.
Oh, so even better.
It made it even better, yeah.
Yeah.
This is based off just the tomato meter.
Oh, okay.
Number one, with 100% perfect rating on their tomato meter, guess.
100.
It's relatively new, too.
Oh, it's new.
And I would say it's arguable that it's even a zombie movie.
Relatively new, like within the last 20 years?
Yeah, within the last 10 years.
10 years.
And it may not even be a zombie movie, depending on.
May not be a zombie movie.
Yeah, I mean,
like as if they're not undead. Like
they're not even really zombies.
they're not risen from the dead.
And that's all I can say about that because I don't want to spoil the movie. It's a movie that you're not supposed to spoil before you watch it, before you send somebody to watch it.
Oh, have I seen it?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
have you seen it?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Was it a big hit?
Does it
have sequels?
It caused remakes in multiple other languages.
Remakes in multiple other languages.
It's a Japanese language.
Oh. Is it Train to Busan?
That's number 2.
Oh.
That's Korean. One Cut of the Dead.
Really? That's number one?
Number 1, 100%. Train to Busan, 95%. Night of the Living Dead, number 3, also 95%.
I was going to say Return of the Living Dead, but you said new-ish.
Reanimator, 94. Dawn of the Dead, 92. Shaun of the Dead, 92.
Dawn of the Dead, the original?
Yeah. No, Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Night of the Living Dead, 1968 is number 3. And then...
So they remade One Cut of the Dead in other countries?
It spun off to, like 12 or 13 other languages.
And like they made their own version of the movie. It wasn't like dubbed.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's got sequels as well.
Really?
Yeah, it's a phenomenon. One Cut.
I have seen One Cut of the Dead.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Remakes.
Adam recommended it to me.
One Cut of the Dead spin-off in Hollywood. One Cut of the
This, the cottage in the opening sequence of this movie has a couple of appearances in different movies as well.
Oh, really?
First one, Never Let Me Go in 2010.
Also Imogen Poots.
And also makes an appearance in Children of Men, another post-apocalyptic dystopian movie
Really?
that we reviewed already.
What was that?
I don't know.
What
I
scene?
can't. Probably when he's in the country when they
With Michael Caine.
No, not Michael Caine. When he the cottage that he escapes from.
I don't remember that.
Right, like when guy runs down when they're trying to jumpstart the car.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, it might be that one.
Could be.
Yeah,
that sounds about right. 28. Number 100 on the list. There's a lot of ones pretty high on this that I've never even heard of before too, which is kind of makes me want to watch them now.
Mm-hmm.
Survival of the Dead is number 100. It's 29%.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Survival of the Dead is number 100 on the list. It's 29%.
29%. That's the last one.
It actually goes to more. It has 101. Wow. Number 101, 102, 103 are all Resident Evil movies.
Oh.
Retribution, Extinction, and Afterlife.
Now, the whole eye thing.
From the first one?
The different colored eyes.
Oh, yeah.
The mom has.
Yeah.
And that the son also has, and she's immune. So it also alludes to the fact that he might be immune.
Yes.
As well, right? But it's not like
I think it's more or less spells it out for you that he's immune.
Because they get into the subway towards the end, and he I think he gets bitten.
Yeah.
And then he runs away.
Yeah.
And then
You're like, okay, even if they contain this through the firebombing, which they would,
yeah,
if he escapes, he's
cooked.
he's the first person he kisses,
Yeah.
or he sneezes in someone's mouth on accident.
Yeah, they should just I mean, they already made 28 years later, obviously. So I don't know if he makes an appearance in that, but if his character makes an appearance, but like if they were to make a different one, or it's just like him older and he's like, he can't kiss anybody.
Yeah,
He can't like
he's like he's like Rogue from X-Men.
yeah,
I can never touch
exactly
with my tongue.
He's like the guy from the Skittles commercial that turns everything into Skittles that he touches.
Oh yeah, that's a great commercial. Man, I wish I had that. Oh yeah, you wish you could never hold your newborn baby child. He's like, okay. Angry Otter's in the chat. He says hi.
He's got a purple crown.
Is he?
He has a king.
Oh.
It says number 1.
Who's number 1?
Angry Otter.
Angry Otter is.
He just finished watching Bring Her Back, and he's not going to watch it again.
I can't wait to watch that.
I assume it's because it's so good and scary, or maybe because you hated it or something.
I heard it's really intense. Really intense.
It's just that scene from Talk to Me with the kid over and over again. Where he's like pulling his eyeball out.
Oh God. Yeah, there's it's a really good cast in this, and it's interesting that like Naomi Harris was still acting, Cillian Murphy's still acting, Brendan Gleeson's gone.
Matt? No, he's not.
No, from the first one.
Oh, I was like, he's
character's
alive.
gone from the first one. But it's like they could have been there, but they were all committed to other things.
Oh yeah.
So they wanted to make the sequel because why not?
Yeah.
Because of money. And but they couldn't get any of the same actors. They couldn't get the same director. Alex Garland didn't have any of the writing credits.
Oh yeah. He just produced producing.
He was
credits.
executive producer. Yeah, exactly. So they made this instead. And
does he have a comment on this movie?
that's the
Alex Garland?
that comment that I read earlier was about this movie.
Is it favorable?
No, it's where he said that's a lesson in making a movie that with intention and a clear direction and pure purity versus a different intention, which is we should make another one.
Oh yeah.
Why not? Basically, that's the difference between the two. Is
Yeah.
there's also some pretty decent trivia on this one. In the DVD extras, it says that all the actors that are playing infected people come from, quote, movement backgrounds, where they have to have a history in dance, gymnastics, circus, or miming. They also followed workshops to learn more about the infections and what they were supposed to do.
Oh.
That's interesting. And that's what they did for The Walking Dead. Not The Walking Dead, Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
For the motion capture for the games, they got dancers and contortionists. Yeah. And then for the show, they got a lot of the same people that were mocap actors for the show. Let's see what else. There were some other good ones I read.
Let's read Tyler's Letterboxd review on this, because he watched it
I got it pulled up.
and he's not here, so we're gonna read it for him.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so 28 weeks later, review by Tyler Noe. I think this movie gets too much hate than it deserves. With one of the greatest beginning scenes, this whole movie encapsulates hopelessness, which is what it is striving for, since we as an audience know that 28 days later exists, so there is going to be no happy ending. I think he means years. I don't know. It highlights the ineptitude of humanity while also expressing the fight for survival. The acting was pretty good, and some concepts introduced were interesting. The writing was spotty, but I could overlook it, and for it being an hour 40, it did not feel that way and kept me engaged. Grade B-, end of report, 3 stars.
Nice. 3 stars.
Acting was pretty good, and some concepts were interesting.
Layered review.
Yeah. What did we say before? Interesting is
It's a non-word.
a non-word. Yeah,
It's hard not to use it though,
it is.
because like, how else would I describe it? It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's how I would describe an echidna. You know, that's interesting.
Yeah, or platypus.
Look at that thing. That's fucking interesting. That's for sure.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Certainly, I am interested.
I think that
It's interesting, but I'm not interested.
I think when you were to take like the biologists that were out exploring, the early explorers, and they come back and they're like, oh look, we found this creature. We call it a giraffe. What it look like? Interesting. Just really interesting. Cool. Can you see a picture of it? Nah, we didn't draw one. Can you describe it to me? I just did. It's interesting.
What else do you need?
Yeah, exactly.
I painted a pretty clear picture.
It's right there. Use your imagination, dummy.
Yeah, it's like when I'm usually interesting. I don't want to kind of not talk about the movie anymore, but it is kind of like how I would describe this movie. If somebody asks you what do you think about that movie? It's interesting. It's almost like saying like, yeah, it's all right, which is also how I would describe.
Yeah, exactly.
In comparison to 28 Days Later, and I was hoping that I'd be able to get to the theater this week to see 20 Years Later, just complete the Now trilogy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And start this new trilogy that they're hopefully gonna do.
Yeah.
Hopefully after they get greenlit for
the
Boner Temple.
The Bone Temple is already set to be released. Like it's already made.
Yeah, it's already in post or being completed.
Yeah, 28 weeks after the movie was released originally, they're going to release the second one.
Yeah.
But the third one hasn't been made.
No, and they're hoping, and Cillian Murphy makes an appearance at the end of the next one.
According to D-Boyle.
Yeah.
Angry Otter says, reviews by Tyler, quote, I watched a film.
Essentially what he kind of said.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. Anything else that sticks out to you from this?
I thought what a terrible fate for the mom. First she gets abandoned by her husband. Yeah. Then she gets bit by a zombie and is probably freaking out about it. Like, I'm going to turn any minute now. Wanders through the wilderness, wanders all the way back to London, somehow gets in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how the fuck she got in with all the security, right?
Well, she didn't get in. The security's not out there because they're out in...
I guess there's
no man's land.
Yeah,
basically.
I guess you're right. So she gets home and she's just like hiding behind a bed for weeks, maybe.
I mean, she probably heard them come in.
I don't know, but she's just in the house for a while, and then she gets taken by the military, brought into the quarantine, a la Annihilation, strapped down to the bed, makes out with against her will, and then
is made out with,
and then is clawed to death basically by her husband. He rips a chunk out of her throat with his mouth, and then
she didn't see any of. She didn't have any foresight.
No, and then gouged his eyes out.
He gouged her.
He gouged her eyes out while she's still strapped down, and then gets her body, if she's still alive, which I think she might be, gets burned alive also.
Yeah, by the jets.
Yeah, exactly.
The fire bombs.
You're like, that poor woman.
Now,
what a terrible demise for that character.
The rage virus itself is a product of these infected chimps, who were being subjected to watching like terrible,
all the atrocities,
human atrocities, for whatever reason.
Yeah, you're never given any bit of it, but it's like at the beginning of the first one, you're like, what the fuck?
Like what do you get out of this?
Also, what kind of lab is that? It's just dark, dripping water all over the place. There's chimpanzee heads just in buckets and stuff.
Yeah,
one of them's rib cage is splayed open and it's just like chilling there, like. They just halfway through the experiment, like, time to clock out. Better go home. Leave this open chimp here.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah.
And the rage virus is like, it's like they just get really mad.
Yeah.
And their eyes change into like red, and they just turn very violent, essentially. And I think that's like, again, interesting, because. The fact that they call it the rage virus, and like the lore that you get from it is that it comes from these chimps who are just watching violent human behavior, and so now they're also violent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that it translated back into humans.
Mm-hmm.
It like went from like human rage and violence to chimps, and then back into a much stronger form. Back into humans, where they can't control it. It's almost like in Last of Us, where the fungus infection, it's like the human is still in there, and in the game at least you can like sometimes you can hear the humans complaining about the fungus, making a complaint, or you can hear like the humans like suffering behind the fungus when they're just like idling there. They're like, don't make me do this, because the fungus is what's controlling their body, but they are still like in there. And this is kind of, it feels like it might be kind of similar where like the human is still like behind there, but it's just they're overtaken by this virus that is making them extremely violent.
For like 1/2 of a second, I thought to myself, I think if I got the rage virus, I'll be okay. And then I was like, wait a second. If I have 3 drinks of whiskey, my complete personality has changed. This virus, which is designed to completely overhaul my entire nervous system and functionality and overtake my brain, is going to be more strong than that. Shut the fuck up.
Your willpower is not that strong.
Just by sheer force alone, I could overpower the rage virus. I'd feel it coming and be like, nope.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say about this movie specifically. I am interested to see where 28 Years Later went. I know it takes a wild turn at some point. I just don't know what that is. And it's rated higher than both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
So
on Rotten Tomatoes, at least.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, in terms of it being a post-apocalyptic movie, I don't think this is the movie that. This is not a title that most people think of in post-apocalyptic. They're like more thinking about like society has fully collapsed and we've already rebuilt structures and everyone's wearing leather and thongs and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's like there is a huge amount of post-apocalyptic movies that immediately jump out, like Mad Max, The Road, The Book of Eli, Waterworld. We had a list.
Doomsday.
Joel made a list for us too.
Death Race.
Yep, Death Race. Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Dredd or Judge Dredd, Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know if Edge of Tomorrow would work though, because that's in the middle of an alien invasion.
Yeah, it is.
So that would be like a apocalyptic movie or a doomsday movie.
There was another zombie movie that I watched and talked about years ago called The Cured, I think.
Yeah, the Irish one. I watched it.
Yeah, and it's like a really interesting concept of zombies who essentially get cured, but they still have some of the memories of when they were zombies and they like killed people.
Yeah, that's
kind of a slow movie, but it was a really, really like intriguing concept.
Unique.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he's got in here. Book of Eli, The Road, Doomsday, Snowpiercer. I made a list too when we first had this. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up in our chat here. Children of Men, Tank Girl, The Rover, Mortal Engines, any Mad Max movies, I Am Legend, Equilibrium, Reign of Fire, The Maze Runner, Hunger Games.
What event happens in Equilibrium?
I don't know if there was like a
singular event.
I think there was, but I don't know exactly what it was. But then the government basically morphs into taking over everybody.
Yeah,
like Big Brother. So our definition that we agreed on for this is something has to happen to essentially end the society that we know it, that we currently know.
Yeah,
and a new society has to be implanted. Whether it's a small individualistic like rebel society, a la Mad Max, or if it's an overarching government takeover like Equilibrium or V for Vendetta or something like that. V for Vendetta I don't think would count because it's still...
Children of Men a little bit as well.
Children of Men, definitely an event happens.
Yeah.
And like the entire society has morphed because of what's happened. So in that case, 28 days later doesn't count because it's like they're still dealing with like nothing's been settled, nothing's been reestablished, but they're just living, trying to get by in this zombie apocalypse. After 28 years or 28 weeks, I mean, now a new society has been rebuilt. There's new norms, there's new rules to follow. There's new like leadership in place, at least in England. So that's why this one particularly counts.
Yeah.
But
28 years later definitely counts.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
So we have our selections, me and Tyler. Do you want to grade it before and I'll give my selections?
Yeah. So like 28 days later, I would probably give like an A.
Yeah.
A solid A. This I'd probably give like Like a B plus.
B plus.
Yeah.
I give it a B.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some really good stuff, and no matter what, I'm still back and forth on how I feel about the opening.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Oh, like
Was
character wise.
Yeah, was his decision warranted or not?
Yeah.
And should he be held liable to that or not?
Yeah.
No matter what, his kids are gonna be pissed about it. I get it. That's their prerogative.
His reunion with his wife was awkward. He's like,
"Hi, honey.
hey,
Looking good.
oh, sorry, by the way.
Got some in your eye.
Yeah, it looks
like a broken blood vessel or
we
something.
got to get that checked out.
Yeah. Did you puke really hard or something?
Yeah.
But okay, so B plus for you, B for me, B minus for Tyler.
Oh, he said B minus?
He said B minus.
Okay.
Let me make sure I got that right.
Yeah!
Yep, B minus. Sorry, I had the volume still up on my side.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Tyler, I asked him earlier what his pick was, and it was said earlier by Joel. His pick is going to be the Book of Eli.
Oh, okay. So
that's going to be Tyler's pick.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to go next week because I'm here.
Yes.
And my pick is going to be Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Love Waterworld. Love me some Waterworld. And
different vibe of apocalypse.
Yes.
More Mad Max on water.
It's Mad Max, but wet.
Yeah.
And it's Kevin McDonald, I think the guy's name is, who directed it. Let me see here.
People like to say that it was like
Kevin Reynolds.
One of the biggest flops, but they fail to remember that it was only a flop because of the budget.
The budget
was spent on the sunken set.
Yes.
And then rebuilt.
Yeah. They told me I was daft to build a set on the water. I did it anyways. That one sank into the swamp. So I rebuilt it. That one sank into the swamp too. The third one, I rebuilt it. That burned down, fell over, and then sank into the swamp. So, directed by Kevin Reynolds. This is it's listed on IMDb as adventure epic, dystopian sci-fi, quest, sea adventure, steampunk, action adventure sci-fi.
Yeah, definitely. All those.
It's got Deb from Napoleon Dynamite playing the little girl.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis Hopper is a great villain.
Bald Dennis Hopper?
Is he bald?
I think so.
I know he loses an eye at some point. And
pretty sure he's bald.
And then Jean Triplehorn is the love interest, who she was hot for a little while.
And then Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, of course, yes.
As the Waterworld.
Fishman.
Yeah.
As the titular Waterworld.
What's his name?
Mariner.
Mariner?
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't have a name. He just called him Mariner.
Okay.
I have seen dry land.
Dry land is not a myth. I've seen it.
Also a small cameo by Jack Black in it.
Yeah.
He's a helicopter pilot.
He's uncredited?
I think he's uncredited, yeah. Let me see if I can see it in the full cast.
He also has an uncredited role. Actually, I don't know if it's uncredited in Demolition Man.
Yep, he does.
Yeah.
Yep, he plays pilot, and he's not uncredited. He's credited.
He pilot?
He can fly. So that's going to be mine. And what I'll say is this, too. Let me see where it's streaming.
I always thought it was cool. The gills.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like as a kid when I watched it, I was like, oh, he's a fast swimmer. He's got gills. He can breathe underwater. This guy's cool.
Spoiler. Waterworld, I'm sorry, that was completely wrong. 45% on tomato meter and 44% on the popcorn meter. So not widely regarded. It's streaming on Peacock. Oh, cool. You can watch it on Peacock.
Okay.
But I will say this. I don't know what version is streaming on Peacock, but there are 3 versions of this movie. There's a theatrical cut.
I've heard this, yeah.
Then there's the TV cut. And then there's a third cut called the Ulysses cut.
A secret third cut.
Yes. The Ulysses cut has all of it.
Edited by Ulysses S. Grant.
Yes. It was actually a fan cut originally. The fans put it together. They took the TV edit and they took the theatrical edit and they put all of them, mashed them all together and edited them in a way that made sense. And they basically took all the story backs and made it more sense. They left all the extra violence that was in there from the TV version. And you got a really long cut. I have a copy of that in 4K, and it's really good. So that's the version I'm going to watch. I'm watching the Ulysses cut.
Okay.
Tyler, I know you're listening to this. If you want to come over and watch the movie, you can do that. So we have a week to do it.
Yeah, it's the polar ice caps that melt and the sea level rises over 7,600 meters, 25,000 feet.
Holy shit.
Covering nearly all of the land.
That's a lot of meters.
That's like, what? 3 foot a meter. It tells me right there, 25,000 feet.
Angry Otter says Warm Bodies was amazing. Joel's excited about Waterworld. How well they fleshed out the world feels amazing. It feels really lived in. And then Angry Otter asks, wasn't this a Universal Studios show for a moment?
Yeah, it was.
Hell yes, it was.
It was.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it still is, but I've seen like clips of it, like people like filming it.
Yeah. For a while, when times were tough, Kevin Costner was actually in the show.
Was he really?
No.
That'd be crazy. I mean, Johnny Depp appeared as Captain Jack on the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Did he really?
When those movies came out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my pick. And then Tyler wrote in, and his pick is going to be Book of Eli. Yeah, so we got Book of Eli.
Book of Eli.
For Tyler, Waterworld for me.
And then Secret Fourth.
Patreon pick. Yeah, Patreon pick we'll put out now because I think there's a good discussion to be had about it. There's a lot of movies to pick from in this genre.
Yeah, and we reviewed a couple of them already.
We've already done Tank Girl. We've already done Children of Men. We've already done Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
So we can't pick one of those ones, or the Patreon can't pick one of those, but do you want to go like well done, or do you want to go cheesy campy? Do you want like Cherry 2000 or something like that?
I mean, Waterworld is a little campy.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're covering
Book of Eli is more dramatic.
Yeah, dramatic and also kind of like popcorny.
Yeah, a little cheesy.
Yeah,
I think.
I like Book of Eli. I'm a fan. I think I own it.
I remember like I watched part of it and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end, you're like, how could he fight like that though? I'm not gonna say what the end is if you haven't seen it.
I know. I know what it is.
But when you get there, you're like, okay,
come on.
Yeah. What is this, Equilibrium? So, anyways,
was he Daredevil?
You got anything else?
No.
Okay, either do I. Okay, so thank you to our cool ass Yardoodles over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. And if you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. He's not on there.
Yeah.
I screwed up. I'm not looking at the script. I'm going off page like they did in Vulcan Isadora.
We messed up last week.
Yeah, I know. I was supposed to get it right this week. But whatever. Yeah, by the way, last week, I didn't give my thoughts on Maltese Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
I rewatched it this week. Still love it. Still great. But it does get really wordy and like drawn out at the end. Mm-hmm. Like, I just want a little more something to happen instead of talk, this guy, chop. But I still thought it was interesting. If you put yourself in the shoes of Sam Spade, you're like, all these people are against me and who knows who every person is. And my partner was just killed, but he's kind of a piece of shit. So you don't really care. Like his partner's dead and he's like, nah, I don't want to go see him. By the way, I'm fucking his wife. You're like, come on, dude.
Yeah. When he gets the news that his partner died, he's very like,
yeah,
whatever.
I'll be there in 15 minutes.
I'll go tell Mrs. Archer or whatever her name is.
But he doesn't even tell her himself. He makes the assistant do it.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I thought it was great. I'm surprised that you guys didn't mention that he was fucking his partner's wife.
A detail that was lost on words.
Yes.
I think.
And then also I was surprised that Tyler wasn't doting more about the that like 1940s vernacular because his hero Dave Damashek says hooey and applesauce all the time.
Oh, really?
As a blanket term for like this junk.
Oh, okay.
He's like, we had a lot of fun. More hooey and applesauce next week. Oh, okay. But he said hooey like 3 times in it.
Oh, really?
So I was kind of surprised he didn't mention that. But anyways, I still thought it was great. But on a second watch, it wasn't as great as my first time. Still a gorgeous looking movie. The lighting in it is fantastic. Yeah, and it was really cool to see in San Francisco. I forgot it was San Francisco. So anyways, until next time. Thank you for joining us as we review 28 Weeks Later, our first of Post Apocalyptic Dystopian July. Follow us next week as we review Waterworld. I'm going to be watching the Ulysses cut. What version are you going to watch? Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at podcast MCFC.
All right, next week there'll be no Joseph, so we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Have fun doing whatever you're doing.
I shall.
All right, classmates, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
See ya.
Acting was pretty good, and some concepts were interesting.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.